What a huge bonus!
Hey everyone, Crow back again, and in this video I'll be taking a quick look at two new single table DLC packs for Pinball FX, both featuring Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Elvira and the Party Monsters from 1989, and Scared Stiff from 1996. Both table packs were released today, October 16th, 2025, although I was given early press access to both tables, which is how I'm able to publish this video on the day of release. Each table pack will cost $9.99 and should be available on every platform Pinball FX is on, though I really only focus on the Steam release on PC. You know, I'm actually a bit surprised that these two tables are being released as separate single table DLCs instead of a single dual table DLC pack, given that these two tables are part of a trilogy. And just in case you're not familiar, the third table in that trilogy is Elvira's House of Horrors, and it's a more modern pinball machine that was released in 2019 by Stern. And Zen Studios, as of this moment at least, does not have a license with Stern Pinball. So before I start talking about the first table, I'm just going to say that I'm not going to go into any technical issues and glitches I encountered because I was playing a pre-released version of these tables, and I don't want to talk about any issues that may not exist when these tables are actually released. I do plan on having gameplay videos of these tables after they're released, but I'll probably have them up closer to or even on Halloween, since these tables are getting released on the first day I'll be at Pinball Expo. So great timing there, Zen. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's get on with our first table. Elvira and the Party Monsters was originally released in 1989 and was designed by Dennis Nordman and Jim Patla, and the callouts were done by Cassandra Peterson, Elvira herself, and Mark Ritchie. There were 4,000 units of this table produced. During the development of the game, Dennis Nordman was involved in a motorcycle accident, and Steve Ritchie helped finish game development while Dennis was on convalescence leave. As an inside joke, there were a couple of broken bones that were added as art on some of the plastics. The theme of the table is just Elvira hanging out with several monsters at a party. This table features 2 flippers, 2 ramps, a party punch ramp, and a monster slide ramp, 4 stand-up targets for waking the 3 deadheads, which can be found on the back wall of the playfield, 2 gravestone pizza stand-up targets, 2 flip-up barbecue targets, a center eject hole that will pass the ball into an array of 3 thumper bumpers, 3 bat rollover lanes, 3 jam drop-down targets, a skull shot for locking balls when lock is lit, of course, and it's got to be mentioned that the number of eyes glowing on the skull is an indication of how many balls are currently locked. And finally, the biggest feature of this table has got to be the boogeymen. If you hit all 3 jam drop-down targets and then hit the center eject hole, these guys come to life and bounce up and down. And I gotta say that Zen did an incredible job with the animations on these two. On the real table, these guys are made of this rubbery plastic, and when they hop up and down, their arms just kind of flop and flail all around. And in this Pinball FX version, I think it's just animated really well. But of course, it does kind of stop the gameplay for a few seconds while these guys dance, but I personally never got tired of seeing it.
Let's boogie!
Thank you, boy.
The one thing that is a bit of a disappointment on this table is that there's no skill shot. You can either launch the ball up to the bat rollover lanes or launch softly so it goes to the right flipper. There's really nothing to go for on launch. But otherwise, there are quite a few things you could go for. Completing the row of drop-down targets on the left side will wake a deadhead, and if you could do that 3 times, the center eject hole will light for 1 million points. The party punch ramp can be shot multiple times for increasing point values that will eventually lead to an extra ball. The monster slide ramp is sort of similar, except instead of an extra ball, the ramp will light for 1 million points, but if you take too long to make a shot, the point values reset to the original values.
Oh yeah.
I also need to mention this Elvira light in front of the monster slide ramp. If this is lit when you make the shot, you'll earn a letter in Elvira's name. There are a few things that'll cause this to light, such as completing the bat rollovers or the jam targets, or waking a deadhead, but it will also light for completing the 1 million point monster slide shot. Once it lights, you only have a limited amount of time to make the shot, but if you do manage to spell Elvira's name, the skull lock becomes lit for 3 million points, and you have about 20 seconds to make that shot. And I believe that is the most amount of points you could get for a single shot in this table.
Oh, monstrous!
Nice! Morgan!
Ooh, nice organ.
Now, multi-ball in this table is a bit unusual because you can only score 1 jackpot per multi-ball. All you need to do is shoot the party punch ramp and the monster slide ramp once in any order, and the jackpot is yours.
Ooh, jackpot!
But it's still worth keeping the multi-ball going because after getting the jackpot, each ramp shot becomes worth 250,000 points, and by continuously hitting those ramps as much as you can during multi-ball, your score can really increase quite quickly. So since this is a Bally-Williams table in Pinball FX, we can turn the enhancements on, and aside from the change in flipper colors from yellow to white and the addition of side art, we get the addition of a mug of green party punch, I guess, a steaming hot dog, another hot dog on a fork in the back that'll occasionally catch on fire, bats that will appear whenever the bat rollovers are completed, and of course, the obvious addition of Elvira in a bathing suit relaxing in a cauldron of what I guess is the same party punch that everyone else is drinking? Is it just me, or does that not seem right? I mean, I wouldn't want to drink that. I don't care who's been sitting in it. I thought maybe it's not party punch, but Elvira actually has a glass in her hand that she occasionally fills up with the same liquid she's sitting in. So what am I supposed to think, huh? I really wish they would have thought of something different for Elvira here. Anyway, she gets up and starts dancing during multi-ball, and she gets mad and splashes the punch whenever you drain a ball. The one thing I'm kind of disappointed by is that they didn't do any enhancements for the boogeymen. I thought for sure they would do something extra for those guys, but I guess not. Overall, I really like this table, and I know that this may be an unpopular opinion, but I actually like this table more than Scared Stiff, and I'll explain why after I talk a bit about that table. Scared Stiff was originally released in 1996 and was designed by Dennis Nordman and Mark Waynot, and the callouts were done by Cassandra Peterson, Elvira again of course, and Tim Kitrow. There were 4,028 units of this table produced. The theme of this one is just more or less Elvira and her macabre humor. Now, the first table had its share of innuendos from Elvira, but this one really amps that aspect up. So much so that I know that there was a switch in the machine for making it more family friendly, but I'm fairly certain that this version in Pinball FX isn't holding anything back.
He always wanted a little head.
Also, unlike the first Elvira table, this one actually has clear goals and a wizard mode to go for. This table features 2 flippers, an array of 3 pop bumpers representing the Monsters Lab, a right ramp that activates the Spider's Lair, a left ramp featuring the Bony Beast, which happens to extend all the way back to the right in lane. You've got a monument to the Deadheads in the right rear of the playfield, and a couple of boogeymen over the slingshots near the flippers. They don't move or react to the ball in any way, and to be honest, I don't remember if they're supposed to. Anyway, there are 3 leaper targets that'll cause the frogs to shoot up into the air when those targets are hit, and a left side shot that can lead to different results depending on the situation. It can lead all the way to the Monsters Lab, or stop at the 3 Deadhead rollovers, or if lock is lit, a passage will open to lock the ball. Then we've got the Stiff in the Coffin, which is where the balls will eject from at the start of multi-ball. In the center rear of the table is a crate that'll eventually open up if you hit it enough times, and there are 2 hole shots on the table. The one by the crate is what you would go for on launch for a skill shot, but otherwise it's just an eject point for the ball when it enters the crate or claims a deadhead. The other hole is right next to the right ramp, and if it's lit, it'll lead you to the Spider's Lair, which is part of the back box. The giant spider will begin spinning and will stop when you hit a flipper button, and you'll earn the award it's pointing at unless you've already collected it. The goal of the table is to complete the 6 Tales of Terror and then get
Scared Stiff!
Progress towards completing the 6 tails are all happening simultaneously as soon as you launch the ball, so it's not like you have to hit a shot to activate a mode and then complete them one at a time. It's very easy to see which modes have been completed by seeing what's lit in the center of the table. These 6 tails of terror are: 1. The Stiff in the Coffin, which is earned simply by locking 3 balls. Lock is lit by shooting the Bony Beast once, and then the left orbit shot will lock the ball. Every time you complete the mode, the number of times you have to shoot the Bony Beast to light the lock is increased. During this multi-ball mode, jackpots are earned by hitting either ramp on your first shot and then alternating ramp shots after that. Tail 2 is the Night of the Leapers, which is completed by hitting each of the leapers once. Outside of the tail itself, there is a Leaper Mania mode, which is activated when you hit the leapers a certain amount of times, and it's a timed mode where the leapers are worth more points and can eventually earn you an extra ball. Tail 3 is Return of the Deadheads, and to complete this, you've just got to light the 3 Deadhead lanes at the top of the playfield. The 4th tail is the Eyes of the Bony Beast, and this is completing just by hitting that left ramp 3 times. The 5th tail is the Monsters Lab, and this is completed by hitting the pop bumpers a certain number of times. And finally, the 6th tail is the Terror from the Crate, where you need to hit the crate a certain number of times until the ball is able to enter it. Once the ball enters the crate, this completes the tail, and it starts a 2-ball multi-ball mode where every crate shot is a jackpot. After all 6 tails are completed, the Stiffometer on the playfield becomes active, indicating that you need to hit the crate to begin the Scared Stiff mode. And to be clear, this is not the Wizard mode. You'll only get to that after completing Scared Stiff by maxing out the Stiffometer. So the way this works is you'll have a limited amount of time to make your shots, and for your first shot you can either hit the crate or either ramp. Completing one of those shots will increase the Stiffometer by 1 and earn you some more time on the countdown clock. Every shot after that alternates between either a ramp shot or the crate. So if you just made the crate shot, the next shot will have to be a ramp. And after every ramp shot, you'll need to go for the crate. And you'll need to keep doing this until you max out the Stiffometer at 10, which will always be the crate shot. Completing this leads to one of the best shows in pinball, as the machine appears to freak out and break down before starting the Wizard mode, Monster Multi-Ball.
Ooh, I scared myself.
I'm warning you! What's this? I'll get him up. What do you get or something? What's this?
Scared Stiff! Monster Multi-Ball!
This is a 4-ball multi-ball mode where all jackpot shots are lit and all are worth 1 million points each. If you fail the Scared Stiff mode by either not completing a shot in time or losing the ball, you'll have to complete all 6 tails again in order to start the mode again, though you'll get to continue where you left off on the Stiffometer. So for Zen's table enhancements, we of course get new art on the sidewall, and the flippers aren't just a color change this time. Here we have bony flippers, which I think is kind of cool, because this is what the original Scared Stiff machine was supposed to have before it went into production and was swapped out for regular flippers. Though I think many owners of this table in real life have modded their machines to put bony flippers back in it. Aside from that, the boogeymen above the slingshots are now animated, and there are spiders and spider webs hanging out over the 2 outlanes. There are a couple new animations added as well, such as green mist appearing from the crate when it's hit, and red glowing phantom scratches when the terror from the crate begins. The pop bumpers will now shoot electricity when hit, bubbles will appear when the ball is drained, and a few bats will appear when the right ramp is hit, activating the spider hole. And finally, Elvira is there at the back of the table hanging out by the Bony Beast. She doesn't really draw too much attention to herself though. The most I've really seen her do is pointing up when you're entering the spider's lair, and she sarcastically claps when you drain the ball. Occasionally, I do get thrown off by Elvira actually being on the table though. The issue is that there are a lot of callouts by Elvira, and the model on the table is just totally disconnected from any of that.
Meathead!
A cow?
I guess that's true of Elvira and the party monsters as well, but it's more noticeable here since Elvira speaks more frequently in this table. Anyway, this is a great table for beginners. It's not really complicated, and there aren't any really tough shots to make or drains where you feel like the game cheated you. And the game is just all-round entertaining.
A most beautiful.
It's a great day for race.
Mother, please move your car! Oh, pooh. Thanks for killing some time with me.
And that'll wrap it up for these two tables, Elvira and the Party Monsters and Scared Stiff. Again, each table is an individual single table download, and I suppose I should explain why I like Elvira and the Party Monsters more than Scared Stiff before the video ends. Well, the reason I like Party Monsters more is because I personally find Scared Stiff to be way too easy, and the games just seem to last a really long time. I mean, there wasn't a game I played where I didn't complete Scared Stiff at least once. So I guess for me, I like Party Monsters more simply because it's more challenging. So, until next time, see ya!